The year is 1482. Paris, a city poised between the old world and the new, thrums with secrets and stories. Its streets are a labyrinth of history, echoing with the footsteps of kings, beggars, and dreamers alike. Paris is a city of stone and shadow, of soaring spires and muddy lanes. The air is thick with the scent of wood smoke and the distant tolling of church bells, a place where every corner seems to hold a mystery. My world was even smaller. Jacques, apprentice scribe, hunched over vellum in Master Renault's scriptorium. My days were spent in the dim glow of candlelight, copying sacred texts and royal decrees, my fingers stained with ink and my back aching from hours at the desk. Life was a rhythm of ink stains and holy texts, but my mind longed for more. I would often gaze out the narrow window, watching the world beyond, wondering if fate had something greater in store for me than the endless scratching of quill on parchment. One sweltering afternoon, as the city simmered under a heavy sun, Master Renault summoned me, his face as stern as ever. His eyes, sharp and unreadable, seemed to weigh my very soul as I approached. He handed me a sealed scroll, its wax marked with a silver crescent moon, and ordered me to deliver it to the Maison de la Lune on Rue des Lombards. The seal glinted in the dim light, mysterious and cold to the touch, as if it carried a secret all its own. I'd heard the whispers. This was no ordinary house. Some said it was a place of alchemy and forbidden knowledge, others that it was cursed, haunted by the ghosts of those who sought its secrets. My master warned me, "Be swift, speak to no one, return before vespers." His words were heavy with unspoken meaning, and I felt a chill despite the heat of the day. As I walked through Paris, the scroll felt heavy, a key to a forbidden world. Every step echoed with the weight of responsibility, and I wondered what secrets I was being asked to carry. The city changed as I neared my destination. Grander buildings, guarded glances, the air itself seemed to shift, growing tense and expectant, as if the stones themselves were watching. Fear and curiosity warred in my chest. I felt the pull of adventure, but also the dread of the unknown, each emotion battling for control as I pressed on. I arrived at a tall townhouse, its door painted midnight blue, a silver crescent above. The building loomed over the street, silent and imposing, its windows shuttered against the world. No laughter, no noise, only silence. I knocked, my heart pounding in my ears, the sound swallowed by the thick wooden door. A grill slid open, sharp eyes studied me. For a moment I felt as if my entire life was being measured and judged in that silent exchange. A woman's voice asked my business. Her tone was cool, but not unkind, and I sensed she already knew why I had come. I held up the scroll, barely whispering my errand from Master Renault. The door creaked open, its hinges groaning as if reluctant to admit me. I stepped inside, leaving the Paris I knew behind. The air was cooler, thick with the scent of old paper and secrets, and the flicker of candlelight danced along the walls. My life, I sensed, was about to change forever. I could feel the weight of destiny pressing in, the sense that I was crossing into a story much larger than my own. The threshold was more than a doorway, it was the edge of everything I'd known. With one step I left behind the safety of routine and entered a world of shadows, secrets, and possibilities I could scarcely imagine. Inside, the Maison de la Lune was nothing like the rumors. The tales of debauchery and excess were mere shadows of the truth. The air was scented with beeswax and lavender, not wine and desperation. It was a place of unexpected serenity, where the senses were soothed rather than assaulted. Candlelight flickered on tapestries of myth. A lute played softly. The ambiance was one of cultured elegance, a stark contrast to the outside world's chaos. Madame Colette, regal and sharp-eyed, greeted me and took the scroll. Her presence commanded respect and her eyes held secrets untold. I waited, observing the women, graceful, confident, discussing poetry and philosophy with their guests. Their conversations were rich with intellect and wit, far removed from the frivolous chatter I had expected. This was no common brothel, but a court of intellect and artistry. It was a sanctuary where minds met and ideas flourished. Isabelle, a chess player, bested a merchant with wit and laughter. Her strategic mind was as sharp as her humor, making her a formidable opponent. Helene read Ovid aloud, her voice captivating. The room fell silent, each word she spoke weaving a spell over her audience. Men here sought more than pleasure, they sought companionship and conversation. They were drawn to the Maison for its unique blend of beauty and intellect. Madame Colette had built a sanctuary where women wielded their minds as well as their beauty. It was a place where intellect was celebrated and respected. She returned, expression unreadable, and offered me work as her scribe. The proposition was unexpected, yet intriguing. The offer was shocking, but curiosity won out. The allure of this hidden world was too strong to resist. I accepted, knowing my old life was over. This new path was uncertain, but it promised adventure and knowledge. The Maison was a paradox, a prison of silk, but also a haven of power. It was a place where the boundaries of society were both enforced and transcended. I was now part of its secret world, a world where intellect and beauty coexisted, and where I would find my place. My new duties brought me close to the house's inhabitants, but it was Isabel who drew me in. Our first real conversation was in the library, over Petrarch's sonnets. We spoke of poetry, philosophy, and the stars, two minds meeting as equals. Isabel's intellect was dazzling, her hunger for knowledge, insatiable. She'd been educated, then cast out by fate, forced into a role she never chose. In our talks we were not scribe and courtesan, but kindred spirits. She revealed the web of power connecting the brothel to Paris's elite. I saw the woman behind the mask, a dreamer, a survivor, longing for freedom. My admiration deepened into love, a dangerous secret in a house built on them. I wanted to protect her from despair, to offer hope. Our bond became a fragile flame, risking everything for a chance at something real. Every woman in the Maison de la Lune carried a story of loss and survival. Helene, once a merchant's wife, recited love poems while mourning her true love. Marguerite, a disgraced noble's daughter, used her courtly knowledge to charm powerful men, always reminded of what she'd lost. Elodie, an orphan, found in the Maison a home and education she'd never known. For some, the house was a prison. For others, a shield from harsher fates. These women were not sinners, but survivors, mothers, daughters, scholars. Within these walls they forged a fragile sisterhood, offering comfort and sharing small victories. Their lives were richer and more complex than any patron could imagine. Their truth was the house's greatest secret. The Maison's survival depended on a dangerous balance with the church. Bishop de Valois, publicly pious but privately corrupt, was both patron and threat. Madame Colette paid him for protection but relied on more than gold. My true task: maintaining secret journals, recording every powerful visitor's confessions. These journals were Madame's leverage, her insurance against betrayal. The bishop knew of them, and that knowledge kept him in check. The journals could topple nobles and clergy alike. Our safety rested on secrets, but so did our peril. The house was protected, but always on the edge of disaster. Power struggles seeped into the Maison's walls. The Duc de Guise, cousin to the king, pressed Isabel for secrets, seeking to use her as a spy. Other nobles plotted in corners, turning the house into a court of intrigue. Madame Colette tolerated it, knowing it made her indispensable and vulnerable. Then came Monsieur Dubois, a supposed merchant whose soldiers bearing betrayed him. Isabel suspected he was a spy, but for whom? The Duke? The Bishop? The balance of power was shifting. Suspicion and fear grew. The sanctuary was now a web of danger, and we were all caught in it. Amidst the intrigue, my love for Isabel became my anchor. We dreamed of escape, a cottage by the sea, a life of dignity and books. The plan was desperate: save coins, plot a route, wait for chaos. Isabel would gather supplies, I'd find the right moment. To flee was to risk death, but hope was stronger than fear. Our love, built on respect and shared longing, gave us courage. We watched and waited, our secret a silent promise. The Maison was a cage, but we would not let it define us. We would risk everything for freedom. Our resolve was quiet but unbreakable. The tension snapped on a humid summer night. The Duc de Guise and Bishop de Valois, once rivals, now conspired together. Their plan: kill Madame Colette, seize the journals, and control the house. Dubois and armed men, disguised as guests, staged a brawl as a diversion. I rushed to warn Madame but found her office ransacked, Dubois standing over her lifeless body. He attacked me. I was left bleeding and unconscious. The conspirators, unable to find the journals, set the house ablaze. Flames devoured the tapestries and walls. Chaos reigned. The sanctuary became a death trap, its secrets burning. The screams of the trapped replaced the music of the lute. The night of ashes had begun. Our world was ending in fire. I awoke to a world transformed by chaos. Fire and smoke clawed at my lungs, pain and confusion driving me upright. The air was thick, suffocating, and every instinct screamed for escape. But above all, one thought cut through the panic: Isabel. I had to find her, no matter the cost. Stumbling through the inferno, I pushed past burning beams and falling debris, calling her name. The heat was unbearable, the roar of the flames deafening, but I pressed on, desperate to reach her before it was too late. At last I found her, huddled with two others trapped on the upper floor. The staircase below was a wall of fire, escape cut off. Their faces were pale with fear, but hope flickered in their eyes when they saw me. With no way down, we scrambled upward, climbing toward the roof as flames licked at our heels. The building groaned beneath us, threatening to collapse at any moment. From the rooftop, we watched in horror as the Maison was devoured by fire, its walls crumbling, the city below illuminated by the infernal glow. Paris itself seemed to hold its breath, transfixed by the spectacle. Suddenly Madame Colette appeared at a window, her face bloodied and her strength fading. Even in her final moments, her resolve was unbroken. With trembling hands, she hurled a satchel toward us. The precious journals, the secrets she had risked everything to protect. It was her last act of courage, a message for the world. The roof gave way beneath her, and in an instant, she was gone. Claimed by the flames, her sacrifice seared into our memories. Clutching the journals, we fled across the rooftops, leaping from building to building, hearts pounding, chased by the relentless fire and the weight of what we carried. At last, we found shelter in a shadowy alley, far from the blaze. The night was eerily quiet, broken only by our ragged breaths and the distant crackle of flames. We were alive, but now fugitives, hunted, carrying the explosive truth of Paris's most powerful. The city behind us burned, but ahead lay only uncertainty. Our old lives had vanished in the fire, replaced by a future as unpredictable as the night. Yet, in that darkness, a fragile hope began to grow. We had survived, scarred but unbroken, carrying with us the stories and dreams of the women who had come before. From the ashes of the Maison, a legacy of truth and defiance would endure, lighting the way for those who would follow.